What if everything society told you about happiness was backwards? Imagine being sold a dream that the more you chase positivity, the more fulfilled you'll feel, only to find yourself exhausted, disappointed, and stuck in a loop of perpetual dissatisfaction. This is where the subtle art of not giving a key begins, by tearing apart the glossy facade of modern self-help culture. Mark Manson doesn't coddle you with platitudes about good vibes only or relentless optimism. Instead, he delivers a raw, unflinching truth that our obsession with feeling good all the time is precisely what's making us miserable. At the heart of Manson's argument is a simple but revolutionary idea. Life isn't about avoiding pain, it's about choosing the right pain. While most self-help gurus preach escapism, meditate your worries away, visualize success, erase negative thoughts, Manson flips the script. He introduces the backwards law, a concept borrowed from philosopher Alan Watts, which reveals the cruel irony of human desire. The more you try to feel happy, the more you amplify your awareness of unhappiness. Picture someone desperately clinging to a failing relationship, or a workaholic chasing promotion after promotion, only to collapse under the weight of their own expectations. Manson shows how this endless pursuit of positivity becomes its own prison, trapping us in cycles of anxiety and self-doubt. But here's the liberating twist. When you stop fighting life's inherent struggles, you unlock a deeper kind of fulfillment. Manson argues that true contentment isn't found in the absence of problems, but in the embrace of meaningful ones. Think of it like leveling up in a video game. Each challenge you conquer prepares you for the next, building resilience and purpose along the way. This isn't about settling for mediocrity. It's about redirecting your energy toward what truly matters. By the end, you'll understand why Manson's message has resonated with millions. Sometimes caring less about the trivial stuff is the key to living more. The subtle art of not giving a fuck, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. By Mark Manson. Introduction. Redefining happiness and the pursuit of positivity. Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck begins by dismantling the modern obsession with relentless positivity. Unlike traditional self-help books that preach affirmations and good vibes only, Manson argues that our cultural fixation on happiness is fundamentally flawed. He posits that the more we chase euphoric states, the more we reinforce dissatisfaction, creating a paradoxical cycle where the pursuit of positivity becomes its own burden. This introduction sets the stage for a radical idea. True contentment isn't found in avoiding pain, but in embracing life's inherent struggles. Manson challenges readers to redefine their relationship with adversity, framing it not as an obstacle but as a necessary ingredient for growth. Manson draws on philosophical roots, particularly the work of Alan Watts, to introduce the backwards law, a concept that suggests the more we try to feel happy, the more we amplify our awareness of unhappiness. For instance, someone fixated on maintaining a perfect relationship may inadvertently magnify minor conflicts, while a professional chasing constant success might spiral into burnout. By rejecting the notion that life should feel good all the time, Manson invites readers to confront uncomfortable truths about mediocrity, mortality, and responsibility. His irreverent tone, punctuated with profanity and dark humor, serves as a wake-up call to those exhausted by sanitized self-help advice. Critics have praised the book's raw honesty, though some argue its casual style risks oversimplifying complex psychological concepts. Yet Manson's core message resonates universally. Fulfillment stems not from avoiding problems, but from choosing which problems are worth solving. This reframing shifts the focus from chasing an idealized life to cultivating resilience through purposeful struggle. The backwards law, the paradox of pursuit. At the heart of Manson's philosophy lies the backwards law, a principle that exposes the futility of chasing positivity. Manson illustrates this paradox with relatable scenarios: the college graduate who equates career prestige with happiness only to feel empty upon achievement, or the social media user whose quest for validation through likes breeds insecurity. The law posits that acceptance of discomfort, financial stress, rejection, failure is the true path to peace. By resisting the urge to fix negative emotions, we disarm their power over us. Manson extends this idea to modern culture's obsession with self-esteem. He critiques the "everyone gets a trophy" mentality, arguing that unwarranted praise fosters entitlement rather than genuine confidence. For example, a student praised for minimal effort may struggle to persist through academic challenges, while an athlete who embraces rigorous training develops resilience. Manson emphasizes that self-worth must be earned through action, not bestowed through hollow validation. This requires confronting our limitations, whether in relationships, careers, or personal habits, and seeing them as opportunities for growth rather than flaws to hide. The backwards law also challenges societal narratives around success. Manson points to historical figures like Thomas Edison and J.K. Rowling, whose early failures became stepping stones to achievement. By reframing setbacks as feedback, we transform fear of failure into curiosity. This mindset shift is particularly vital in the age of social media, where curated perfection masks universal struggles. Manson's message is clear: embracing life's inherent messiness liberates us from comparison and fuels authentic progress. Happiness is a problem, the necessity of struggle. Manson dismantles the myth of perpetual happiness, asserting that joy emerges not from avoiding problems, but from solving meaningful ones. He likens life to a video game. Each level introduces new challenges, and mastery lies in embracing the grind. Avoiding difficulties, whether a toxic job or a strained friendship, only defers suffering. For instance, staying in an unfulfilling career to avoid financial instability often leads to deeper regret. Manson urges readers to upgrade their problems by pursuing challenges aligned with their values, such as trading workplace drudgery for entrepreneurial risks. The book delves into the biological purpose of negative emotions. Anxiety signals unmet needs, while anger often highlights boundary violations. Manson shares personal anecdotes, like his early failures as a blogger, to illustrate how listening to these emotional cues, rather than numbing them with distractions, builds self-awareness. He critiques modern comforts for disconnecting us from pain's evolutionary role, which once drove survival. Reconnecting with purposeful struggle, whether through fitness goals or creative projects, reinstates meaning in an age of instant gratification. This chapter also confronts societal conditioning that equates suffering with failure. Manson argues that a problem-free life is not only impossible, but undesirable. He cites studies on post-traumatic growth, showing how adversity often catalyzes profound personal transformation. The key takeaway: happiness isn't a destination but a side effect of engaging with life's inevitable challenges. You are not special, the liberation of mediocrity. Manson challenges the cultural obsession with exceptionalism, arguing that the pressure to be extraordinary fuels anxiety and narcissism. He cites research linking inflated self-esteem to poorer mental health, particularly when unearned. By accepting our inherent averageness, most of us won't become CEOs or celebrities, We free ourselves from unrealistic expectations. This isn't a call for complacency, but a plea to focus on incremental growth within our control. The chapter critiques victimhood chic, where individuals weaponize past trauma to evade responsibility. Manson shares stories of clients who blamed childhood hardships for adult stagnation, illustrating how this mindset perpetuates helplessness. Conversely, those who acknowledge their pain while taking ownership of their responses, like a cancer survivor building a support network, model resilience. Manson also addresses relationships, arguing that the soulmate myth sets unrealistic standards while accepting a partner's flaws fosters deeper connection. Manson's critique extends to modern parenting and education systems that prioritize self-esteem over competence. He advocates for anti-goals, identifying what you're willing to suck at, to conserve energy for domains where excellence matters. This pragmatic approach to self-worth, valuing effort over innate talent, aligns with psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindsets. The value of suffering, choosing your struggles. Manson posits that suffering is inevitable but not indiscriminate. The key is to choose what you're willing to suffer for. A musician enduring grueling practice sessions does so because the joy of mastery outweighs the pain. This framework transforms suffering from a passive experience to an active investment. Manson contrasts healthy suffering, e.g., marathon training, with unhealthy suffering, e.g., staying in an abusive relationship, urging readers to audit their struggles. The book highlights how avoidance strategies, like substance abuse or workaholism, exacerbate pain. Manson shares a friend's battle with addiction, detailing how confronting underlying trauma, not numbing it, led to recovery. Similarly, societal efforts to eliminate discomfort, e.g., helicopter parenting, often backfire, depriving individuals of resilience-building challenges. This chapter also explores existential suffering, such as grappling with mortality. Manson posits that death awareness, while unsettling, clarifies priorities. A terminal diagnosis patient focusing on family over career exemplifies this. By aligning struggles with core values, suffering becomes a compass guiding us toward what truly matters. You are always choosing. The power of responsibility. Manson asserts that even inaction is a choice, and shirking responsibility perpetuates victimhood. He illustrates this with a client who blamed her unhappy marriage on her spouse, refusing to acknowledge her decision to stay. Until she accepted her agency to either work on the relationship or leave, she remained stuck. Manson distinguishes fault from responsibility. While we aren't always to blame for our circumstances, we're responsible for our responses. The chapter critiques deterministic thinking, such as attributing behavior solely to genetics or upbringing. Manson cites Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, noting how Holocaust survivors found purpose amid unimaginable horror. This extreme example underscores that agency exists even in limited control. Manson also addresses societal scapegoating, like blaming economic hardship on immigrants. By taking responsibility, upskilling, budgeting, individuals regain power. This theme extends to global issues. Climate action begins with personal accountability, not waiting for governments. Manson's message is clear. Ownership of our choices, however small, is the foundation of empowerment. Failure is the way forward, the do something principle. Manson reframes failure as essential for growth, asserting that mastery requires thousands of tiny failures. He shares his own writing process, where discarded drafts and harsh feedback honed his voice. The do something principle, action fuels motivation, not vice versa, is illustrated through a depressed client who alleviated symptoms by committing to daily walks, however brief. The chapter critiques perfectionism, using startups as an example. Those launching imperfect products and iterating based on feedback outperform rivals waiting for readiness. Manson also explores societal fear of failure, linking it to shame avoidance. By celebrating effort over outcomes, like a child praised for persistence in math, not grades, we cultivate resilience. This section underscores that failure's inevitability makes it a teacher, not a threat. Embracing this mindset reduces anxiety, freeing energy for experimentation. Manson urges readers to fail upward, viewing each misstep as data guiding future decisions. The importance of saying no, boundaries and integrity. Manson champions selective commitment, arguing that every yes necessitates a no. He shares an entrepreneur's downfall after overextending, contrasting it with a colleague who thrived by focusing on core strengths. Boundaries, Manson asserts, protect values. Whether declining a lucrative project misaligned with ethics or ending a toxic friendship. The chapter examines societal pressure to please, exemplified by nice guys who repress needs to avoid conflict. Manson ties this to insecurity, noting that self-assured individuals prioritize integrity over universal approval. He advocates for negative visualization, imagining worst-case scenarios of saying no to reduce fear. Ultimately, rejection clarifies priorities. A writer declining superficial networking events to focus on craft exemplifies this. By valuing depth over breadth, we cultivate meaningful engagement. Manson's advice echoes Warren Buffett's 25-5 rule. Focus intensely on 5 critical goals and ignore the rest. Contemplating death, mortality as a clarifying force. Manson posits that death awareness, while morbid, sharpens focus on what matters. He shares a near-death experience that prompted him to quit a lucrative but unfulfilling job. This existential urgency counters procrastination, urging alignment between actions and legacy. The chapter critiques immortality projects, obsessions with fame or wealth to cheat death. Manson argues these pursuits often neglect present joy. Instead, he advocates for negative immortality, living so fully that death's inevitability feels acceptable. Examples include a dying teacher prioritizing mentorship over treatments and a retiree finding purpose in volunteering. By accepting mortality, we shed trivial concerns, channeling energy into lasting impact. Manson's message aligns with Stoic philosophy, memento mori, remember you must die, as a tool for mindful living. Practical applications. Living the subtle art. Manson concludes with actionable steps, defining process-oriented values, e.g., curiosity over accolades, practicing radical honesty, and embracing uncertainty. He illustrates this with a manager fostering team trust through vulnerability and a student improving grades via consistent study over cramming. The book's enduring relevance lies in its call to reject superficial metrics, likes, titles, income, for intrinsic fulfillment. By applying these principles, readers craft lives of purpose, resilience, and authentic joy. Manson's final challenge: what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? The answer, he argues, defines your destiny. So here's the brutal, beautiful truth Mark Manson leaves us with. Life isn't about avoiding storms, it's about learning to dance in the rain. Every day you're choosing what to care about, whether you admit it or not. You can keep chasing shiny distractions, numbing discomfort with likes and lattes, or you can plant your flag in the dirt of what truly matters. The subtle art isn't apathy. It's alignment. It's staring mortality in the face and deciding, this is worth my sweat. This is worth my scars. Remember, greatness isn't found in perfection. It's forged in the messy middle, the failed startups, the awkward conversations, the days you show up even when motivation's gone AWOL. Manson's message isn't a free pass to quit. It's a battle cry to fight smarter, to stop caring about fitting in and start caring about showing up for yourself, for your people, for the work that lights your soul on fire. So ask yourself tonight, what pain do I want? What hill am I willing to die on? Because here's the secret no one tells you. Your best life isn't waiting on the other side of someday. It's buried in the grit of today. The world needs fewer perfect Instagrams and more imperfect humans daring to give a damn about something real. Be one of them. If this resonated, smash that subscribe button, not for me, but for the version of you that's ready to stop chasing butterflies and start building gardens. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you're committing to care more about this week? Let's turn not giving a fuck into giving all the fucks that matter. Until next time, stay uncomfortably alive.